the whole thing. Maybe not touch, but that is really humiliating thing to do to somebody, and it's the reason.
Oil change time. Oh yeah.
Officers do not get
Where
they go into
is
prison.
that Prestone leaking from?
Cell phones, drugs are smuggled by correctional officers. You know, I mean,
Drip.
come on. It's
Drip.
humiliating.
Okay, Liza, you've made your point. We're driving everybody in. I appreciate
Oh,
it.
give me a second. I gotta put this on the tripod.
Today, and I
Alright, I'm back.
but I think
Tripod equipped.
when you have rights that
I'm listening to a call-in show
easy to become complacent about that.
about the fellow that was stopped in New Jersey for an unpaid parking ticket that turned out to be a paid parking ticket. And he had the receipt, and they didn't care. You go to jail, you wait a week to see a judge, you get strip searched multiple times, and you can't sue. Tough luck. Next time, don't get a ticket. A bloody ticket, which is not even a criminal offense. I don't think I heard the blurb about it.
Private property and how you have to obtain a warrant for that. And you have to have proper evidence to obtain that warrant.
Oh,
And how
yeah. There goes the black goopy.
saying your door down and come in. And this
Somebody
right to strip search is
asked
very
me a
simple.
question
There's really no cause.
a couple of days ago,
They're still given that right.
and it didn't have the exact right answer to give him. There's freaking Prestone leaking here. I found this oil change tub lying on the street. Someone just took it out of the trunk of their car and dumped it. Years and years and years ago. I've used it so many times.
That's a
Drip,
very interesting point.
drip,
They pull him out of
drip,
Occupy Wall Street.
drip.
They arrest him. They bring him into the
Drip.
holding area, and then they strip search him. And
Anyways, the person asked me how often to change the oil in a vehicle. I said, well, there's a lot of variables in today's age of unleaded fuel. Cars run much cleaner with fuel injection, with multi-port fuel injection as opposed to throttle body fuel injection. And he said he thought he should change the oil in his 2011 Malibu, a really high efficiency car. It really is, no joke. He told me that he thought he should change the oil every 3,000 to 4,000 miles. I said, total waste of time, totally. Oils are far, far better than they used to be. I said 6,000 to 7,000 miles. I know we're from the day when you used to change it every 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 miles. Well, that could be once a month, once every 2 months. I change the oil in my diesels, and I use synthetic exclusively. I never use conventional oil. I use nothing but synthetic drip.
back in the day.
And I change my oil every 5,000 to 6,000 miles. A couple times a year, 3 times a year, depending how often I drive it, how often it idles. Sometimes I have vehicles idling for hours and hours to keep lugs warm.
But here's my opinion on the Supreme Court.
See, I don't think it's the water pump, and I'll show you. I gotta clean my fingers off. I got
And they
oil in my flashlight.
that are on the books in a very liberal way at times. So I consider the Supreme Court to be the ultimate check and balance.
The ultimate check and balance. Oh, yeah.
And I just want
So the guy goes to jail for a week, gets strip searched for a ticket that he had paid years earlier. Total mistake.
On the,
And they want the safety of the law enforcement officers to be protected, but hello, I'm innocent. Everybody says that when they go to jail. Oh boy, dilemmas. But the weep hole is dry. Yep, I'm looking right at the weep hole, and if that's where it would be leaking from, which is right there, the weep hole, you can't see it, but it's dry. And it's leaking like crazy. And then it doesn't leak. And then it leaks like crazy. And it doesn't leak. One day I'll pull off the water pump and I'll find a busted gasket or something. Yet certain times it doesn't leak. Got all of my bolts attached on my starter bracket. Got my oil change happening. I got the passenger side of the vehicle lifted up because my driveway slopes that way, downhill. So I lifted up my wheel a little bit to get the oil pan level so the oil will drain most effectively. I'm going to put a $10 oil filter on, and I'm going to fill it first, let it fill. The paper gets saturated with oil. So you got to fill it usually before I start. This is metal protector, fluid film. I love this fluid film. It does the job. And the thick goopy inside the fenders, well, you gotta have crappy weather for a long time to see if the thick goopy protects from the wash of the wheels going round and round. Wheels Walter in Westfield. What else we got in the back here? Pipes on that Dodge. Hang on, I got it on macro. Give me. There we go. Maybe we'll get some rumble from those pipes. No traffic. No rumble. What do we got here? Oh, look! Starter! Yep, I called a friend of mine up that works at a place an hour away that deals with lots of diesels, mostly military diesels. He says, "You want a 24 volt?" I said, "Nah, I don't care. I gotta send the core back for where's Lil Feller," and he's got a good starter, so my buddy brought me over this POS. And it's pretty rough. I'll clean it up a little bit. I'll get the cable off, and I'll bring this to my starter rebuilding shop, and where's Little Feller's going to mail me his. And look at that, the drive is nice and tight on this one. Hard to turn, it's got a good one-way clutch. But I don't know what's doing inside because I don't know how to open these. I'm not very good at that. Maybe the starter shop will do it when the one from Where's Little Feller arrives. All that's wrong with his is the drive has gone bad, I think. Alrighty. I'm enjoying my shiny paint job. Oil spraying everywhere. What kind of filter is this? It's a Valvoline Max Life. 50% better protection than a Fram, or so the blurb on the box says. Engineered by Purolator. I guess that means it's a relabeled Purolator. Fill the filter before you install it, even if the filter lies sideways on the vehicle, because the paper has to absorb the oil. And blurb, blurb, blurb takes a half an hour to fill a filter, especially longer on a colder day when the oil may be thicker. Always fill the filter first. Doesn't care. I don't care what kind of car it is, what kind of engine. Fill the filter. Do yourself a favor, because the first thing the oil does is go to the filter, I think. And it's got to fill it, and the engine will go until the filter is filled, until all the air escapes and the paper is saturated. Cheap insurance. First thing you do before you drain the oil, don't take me for a lesson, is fill the filter first, then drain the oil, and put the plug back in. It's always a good idea to put the oil on top of the engine right there, so you shouldn't forget that there's no oil in the motor. I once rebuilt a V6 Malibu motor, and I started it up to show a friend how well it ran, and then I realized there was no oil in it. Just hadn't gotten around to putting the oil in. Luckily nothing happened. Blurp, 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 blurp. 50% longer life, removes more sediment. It's funny. I'm going to read the English and the French in the shop here. When your engine is over 75,000 miles, well, mine's got almost 275. Anyways, English to French translation. Engineered by Purolator, says it right there. But you read the French side of the box, and it says mise au point par Purolator. Mise au point means to bring it to sharpness, to the point, like sharpening your pencil. And it's the slang term that is used for a tune-up, mise au point, brought to the point. And in English it says engineered. Huh. Brought to the point by Purolator, engineered by Purolator. How do you like that? Engineered doesn't mean it's any good, it just means it's engineered. It's like saying change your oil regularly. Well, once every 10 years, whether it needs it or not. Mise au point. Enlève 50% plus de boue, which sounds like mud. Removes 50% more sludge to help improve engine life. Pour prolonger la durée de vie du moteur. To prolong the duration of the life of the motor. Which is a pretty direct translation, except by engineered, mise au point. On the bottom, it's written in Spanish. Ayuda a evitar los depósitos y mejorar la protección del motor. Some Spanish I speak. Aide de prévenir des dépôts et à mieux protéger le moteur. I'll have to read one of my websites to see how good they think this oil filter is. Probably all made by the same company. How we doing here? Oh yeah, look at that. I'll take it out of the sun. It's too bright outside. Look at that. Oh, you probably can't see it, but it's less than half filled, and it was full. Less than half filled, and something else is going to come up in the conversation briefly. Yeah, it's 1/3 filled. How do you like that? Fill her up. Always fill the filter, even if it's mounted horizontally like on a Honda, or so many cars now the filter sits sideways. Doesn't matter. A little bit of oil trickles out, but most of it stays absorbed in the paper.
Because obviously there's so much on the record.
One thing about this camera is it doesn't focus well up close. And I've watched so many of my other friends, YouTube friends videos, and their cameras focus so well up close. And I don't even think they have them on macro. And mine doesn't. What have I got to do today? I got to repair my trailer. Busted. Change my water pump. What do you think of my racing stripes? Everybody always asks who that yellow truck belongs to. I say it's a guy who works for the government, DOT.
Good idea.
Yeah. I'm from the government. I'm here to help. Contradiction. All right, where were we? Still filling it up. See? And then I got to take the cable off the starter, and there's that bracket. Yep. $15 for this bracket at the dealer, and $2 for the other one that's even nicer than this, $2.30. This one's $15.81. Piece of junk bracket, half the thickness of the other one, and much simpler to make. But it's GM. Got the torches already. I'm going to heat that up. Oh, that's what I wanted to show you. I'm going to show you that this bolt that is so rusty would never come off without cracking the solenoid, junking it. It's pretty junk anyways, but I'm going to heat this up with the torch. I'll do it on a separate video. I'm going to remove that and show you how well that works. You heat it up red hot and you spray it with water, and that breaks the bond. See? Water. I'm going to do it on a separate video. You spray it with water and it breaks the bond. That'll undo just like butter. Hopefully.